G'day folks, Andy here from Manor. So, on our return from Paris, thought we'd have a quick look around the yard to see how things have fared, and we'll see, you know, how the kids managed and what jobs have got to be done. So we're at the front of the building site. Little lime tree looks pretty good actually. I'm surprised about that. That's great. Most of my grasses are still alive. I've been home 3 days now from France. Run around like a bit of a maniac. Did some watering to make sure everything was alive. That little mulberry, yeah, he's going alright. Lost all the fruit, but that's okay. It's only a little tiny twig anyway, so who cares. The big surprise of the yard is that blood orange. I really thought I'd come back and find a dead stick. Before I went, I threw some pumpkin seeds out the front. I'll be buggered, eh? They've grown. There's some little not cucumbers, you silly buggers. Peppers. Capsicums. That's the word I was struggling for. I knew it after all. There's some more pumpkin seeds, so that's great. Yeah, out the front's looking alright. Got some, that's a new little bottle brush callistemon. He's flowering, a bit impressed about that. There's an old version beside it you can see there. I don't know if I did a clip on making that stupid birdhouse. I got excited at one stage, folks, and started building bloody birdhouses and bird feeders and God knows what. But anyway, yeah, building site's looking pretty good and everything survived really well out here. And great! The Japanese gardens survived pretty well. No deaths out here either. Jeez. Oh, except of course the pipe fell off my bloody fountain again, didn't it? Ah, damn it, there's another chore, Andy. This is the big girl's yard. It's probably suffered the worst, to be honest. A couple of these are just projects that I had, you know, I'd left in the last video. Got some vertical garden there with some lattice behind it I'll use as a trellis somewhere. There's that trolley I built. Yeah, Rossie's already talking about painting the whole bloody thing. I knew that had happened. Little lime trees. Oh no, it's fibbing. It's a little mandarin. He's held up pretty well. Got some tomatoes coming up beside him. Oh, the grape has sprung back. I was so worried that was dead, so that's fantastic. That's 2 or 3 weeks growth. Amazing. Over on this one, that's that little lemonade tree. Lost all his fruit. That's okay. People were debating with me on Brisbane local food whether I should strip those fruit buds off anyway. Little capsicum at the bottom's come back. And the loganberry in the back has obviously done very well. The lime beside it, she's doing pretty well. The fig tree's come back to life, thank God. I was really worried I was going to lose that. There's a little bit more random cuteness. There's me monitoring that the solar system on the aquaponics is working. You can't see it from down here, so I'm not going to show you, but I added a third solar panel. We had a bit of debate on YouTube about whether or not I had enough incoming power, and the answer was, you're right fellas, I didn't, so I added another panel. Poor old lawn's a bit catastrophic. I was hoping that was just going to turn out to be, it got real dry, but I'm pretty confident now. There's one of the chooks. Pretty confident now that's lawn grubs. So I'm going to have to go and get me some organic lawn grub spray, and the girls will have to stay in their little pen for a couple of days while that degrades back into the soil. And I'm really anxious these days about using any sort of spray, to be honest, even if it is labelled organic. You know, between the fish and the bloody chooks. It's a bit of a risk, but anyway, I can't let the lawn die. Too much money value in that, according to normal real fakes. Potatoes are going great guns, can't believe it. There's that choco on the side, he's survived pretty well. Over in the back corner here, my carrots are doing pretty good too. Never really had any success with carrots. Oh, sorry about that. So if I can get these buggers to grow and actually produce some fruit over here, Andy, I'll be very excited. So yeah, no, doesn't look like, oh, there's a bit of sweet potato down in the back there. Doesn't look like there's some coming up over there, which means it should be tubering according to me. Let's have a quick look at the aquaponics. So the first job I did when I got home, you can see, is I put the shade cloth on. And come and I'll show you why. It's not real hard to spot. Geez, I'll tell you what, things are growing great. In fact, a little too great from all the sun. So you can see my basil's bolted and gone to seed there. that's okay. I'll flick those seeds into the bed and they'll grow. There's a perpetual spinach at the back there, has bolted like a beauty. God, that's got to be 3 foot tall. Holy cow. The leaves on my lettuce are getting, oh, that's a good one to show you. They're too tough, you know, they shouldn't be like that. That was one of the things, look, there's another little lot of flowers over there. But that's one of the things that caught me on to, oh my God, you know, you're 2 weeks late, Andy, you should have had that shade cloth up. Unfortunately, I wasn't here. As you know, I leave these fence palings on the end, they work as my struts. Chives there are all going to seed as well, look at that. Bloody hell, I wish you could appreciate these chives. I've never seen chives like it, holy mackerel. A few bits and bobs coming up, that's great. I've got a thing called coriander. It's a perpetual coriander. It's that one there on that side. It looks like it's bolted too, unfortunately. I'm really hoping that tastes nice. It looks pretty kind of spiky and not real appealing, but I'll give it a crack. You never know, folks. You never know. You got to try it. There's a couple of cos lettuces going to seed here. More seed down the bottom. There's some on this side all going to seed, which is great in a way, you know, because I throw them in and it really does work. Let me move a little bit of tomato. What the hell's that tomato doing out there? You can see that's all cos lettuce coming up. Alright, so I'll just throw that tomato on one side. Get away, ye sinner. That should open up that bed a bit more. Have a look at this, me. Spring onions or green onions. They're going to seed as well. Fantastic. So yeah, the aquaponics is looking good. You can see getting strawberries, great crop of strawberries. I fanged into them yesterday, so things aren't looking too bad here. All right. The duckweed and water ferns are all going still great guns. Real happy about that. Fantastic. That's a water chestnut in the corner. The little seed house, I'm afraid, didn't make it. Oh, I can see there was a lot of little seedlings. It was my fault. I'm bloody stupid planting seedlings before I go away. A lot of them did come up, but they've croaked. So I'm just watering for a couple of days now. Something will come up. I've got a couple of tomatoes already have come up in there. I'll transplant what survived and get rid of I'll replant the rest. Otherwise, you know, things are looking good. Checked on the wormies. That's the wormy houses there. Not going to open them up. Checked on them yesterday. They're all going great guns, so they've survived. You know, the kids have done a real good job. I reckon, you know, it's easy for me to say, oh, come on over. Sorry, it's a bit of a mess with ladders and stuff. I really am in mid make sure everything's okay. You know, it's one thing to say to your kids, come on over and look after the place, but when you got chickens and bloody dogs and fish and Christ knows what, you know, it is complicated, I guess. You know, I'm used to it, and I find it real easy, but I guess if you're not used to it, probably a bit of a challenge. Alright, we'll have a quick look around the little dog's yard. I'll give you a quick look around the alfresco dining first. That's all the kumquats. So they've all survived, looking good. Azaleas and flowers and stuff in the pots are still going great guns. That's fabulous, yeah. That's really survived well. Incredible, yeah. My poor old Arch, yeah, you probably can't, oh yeah, there's a bit hanging over there. He hasn't quite survived so well. He suffered a bit of wind damage, but that's a 10-minute job, easy fix. Let's have a look down the little dog's yard, eh? How do we know we're going down the little dog's yard? Because the sign tells me. Alright, the grape on this side's come back. Oh, no, that's a passion fruit. There it is. I'll show you that later. The grape on this side's come back. You can hear a tap that shouldn't have been left on there. I'll turn that off. Got a few little tiny carrots and stuff. There's that thing where you use a sweet leaf. My little basil in the bottom there, he's gone to seed. Everything's bloody suffered from the heat. Some herbs, my dill came home, he was covered, absolutely bloody covered in little aphids. So I gave him a hit with some salty water yesterday. No, soapy water yesterday, not salty water, otherwise he'd be dead. That's got rid of the bulk of them. I'll probably give him a hit again tomorrow. We put on snow peas, they're finished. So I'm just hardening off a few seed pods now. I'll keep them for seed for next year. Although oddly enough, there's a new little fella popping up. Anyway, there's my Thai basil. He's gone to seed. I spread a bit of seed around in the bottom that hasn't been watered, so who knows. Lots of lemons. He's come back. He's lost all his flowers. He was covered in flowers, so that's probably a good thing again this time. He's too small to really be producing fruit. There's that vertical garden. I've only been back 3 days, folks. The first day I was asleep. So no, I haven't planted it, but I have bought some cos lettuce. I want to stick them in there. I had to buy them because I tend to do most of my seedlings in the aquaponics bed these days, which is great if you leave them in the aquaponics bed, but if your plan is to transfer them in the dirt, you've got a bit of trouble. The mint's died back a fair bit on this side. Couldn't care less if that died, quite frankly. I've got a ton of it in the aquaponics bed. Though I'd rather bring this back to life and knock off the stuff in the aquaponics bed. There's not much activity in the ginger pot, but I'm sure it'll be in there. Elaine's dragon fruit survived. Some little tiny tomatoes not doing much. That's that second vertical garden. Look, I have bought the soil to put in. I'll mix it with the compost. I'll mix it with the chicken poo. It'll go in nice and rich, and Rosie can have that one. There's a hanging vertical garden. I've got to put some drippers off my watering system. Will go in that bed, and also in here, and probably in these pots over here as well. And the mint, and that straggly little thing that otherwise is impossible to keep alive because it's too bloody small. Things are growing pretty well in here. Still got cherry tomatoes on. I've slowly cut back some dead out of those tomatoes. I harvested a ton. There's some cherries. Harvested a ton of that. Enough to make a sauce for me and Rosie for dinner tonight. Some pasta. There's the salvia. He's going great. That's for bees. There's the lavender. That's really for bees. Although I really would have loved to have a crack at lavender scones. I must do that sometime. The old pumpkin, he isn't dead yet. I'm debating whether to pull him out so I can put something else in, given that I've got new pumpkins on the other side. What's that little fella down there? I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if we can... Oh, there he is, look. What the hell was that? Oh, I've actually got bees. A couple of years ago I had no bees, no wildlife hardly at all in here. So we're actually getting a fair bit of wildlife now, which is fantastic. Rosie's got flowers in there with the pumpkin, which is still flowering. There's our single remaining Brussels sprout. And everything else is looking good. The rosemary's good. Parsley's come back. Can't kill lemongrass no matter how hard you try. Chili's still surviving, not producing much but surviving, and there's new shoots coming up beside him. That's great. Quite a few actually. Oh, here's Bob coming to help me now. The gooseberry sprung back great. And the lanky pawpaw, he's going great guns. He's headed for a haircut. All the branches on this side that hang over the neighbour's yard will be cut off. The big tall branch in the middle there, he's going to be cut off. Don't mistake it for the palm tree behind. I'm not cutting the neighbour's palm down, don't panic. So yeah, things have survived pretty well. Kids have done an amazing job. Oh, my mushrooms farm, I'll show you where that is. The compost bins, they're alright. Checked on them. Not much composting action been happening while I've been away, kids. But anyway, let's shut this gate here. Now down under my tank stand, that's my mushroom farm in there. I did a video on that. I got a few mushrooms. I wouldn't say I got much out of that. That was as dry as a dead dingo's, you know what, when I got back. So I've wet that up. Yeah, it's still good, moist. I'm hoping that'll come back. It's not the right season. It's summer, going into summer, so I don't know that I'll get any mushrooms out of there, but I figure I'll keep it moist and look after it a bit. If worst comes to worst, I'll throw it in the bloody compost, eh? Alright, well, there's Bobby checking out the yard as well. He's very helpful like that. Good on you, Bob. I must show you, I bought him a little jaunty French dog collar. I'll have to give you a look at that sometime. That's a bloody classic. Alright folks, there's the visit round the manor. You know, see what survived our trip away. A few chores needed to be done, but not over much. I'll be damned, the kids have done a bloody good job. Who'd have thunk it, eh? Alright, I'll see you next time.